What up? It's your boy Nick Incredible, man. And yes, I am back at it again. And this is 911 Lone Star Season 2 discussion slash review. And I'm going to be 100%, man. I cried myself this episode. Let's get into it. This episode, in 911 fashion, was 911 Lone Star's traumatic event, if you will. A volcano just happened to go active throughout Texas. And it's not like the actual part of the volcano, like the outer skirts that connected the volcano actually went active. And there were a couple cases, one involving a pool where a lot of people were injured, and then the one that we see in the very beginning of the episode, well, which is the pool incident, but the one at the golf or the putt golf course where the guy fell into like the little cave in. And both of those cases, man, were wrapped up very reasonably, and people were retreated and everything. But I feel like the highlight of this episode and like the impact of this episode came from that pool scene and everything else that's taking place, because we're dealing with the fact now that Captain Strand is in remission and now everyone knows, and we're having like some joy and excitement, but we can also tell that Captain Strand is feeling some type of way that he's in remission now. And at the ending of the episode, we learned that, he feels like when he got cancer, he felt like, it was time kind of catching up with him for being able to survive 9/11. And now he feels like he doesn't really know what to do. Now he has another chance at life. And he feels on the outskirts a little bit with that. But this episode, we also see that Tim, the paramedic, the one that actually died this episode, I knew somebody was going to die. They said it in the preview and everything. I knew that, but I was thinking it was going to be a firefighter. I wasn't sure. I was hoping no one died, because a lot of TV shows showcase that, and then boom, bam, someone died. But I mean, someone got injured, but they didn't die. They just can't be a firefighter or a paramedic anymore. But Tim actually died. But dealing with that this episode, we also see that Tim has been kind of constantly butting heads with Captain Tommy, well, Captain Vega. And she's still new, she's still finding her footing. She's been a paramedic before, but after she had she stopped, she had her kids, and she hasn't been a paramedic since. So now that she's back, she's still trying to kind of get into the swing of things. And Tim doesn't kind of see eye to eye with her. They get along, but he feels like she could be a little more excited and chipper and everything. But we know why she feels the way that she feels, because she's missing her kids and she doesn't really want to be apart from them. But at the same time, Judd kind of laid it out that, because she was feeling like she's depriving her family and leaving her kids, and Judd kind of laid it out with the fact that you're not leaving them, you just added to your family now that you're a captain of the firehouse. Well, with the paramedics of the firehouse now, you just extended your family. Oh man, I totally forgot about the case with the chicken and scorpions. That was a cool scene. But how like they handled that with the Wikipedia page and the acidity and the vinegar, and she got rid of the scorpions and stuff. But that wrapped up very nicely as well. All of the cases seem to be wrapped up except for the one with the pool scene, which heavily tied into the main story of this episode. And we see that Captain Vega is kind of going through some things this episode as well, along with kind of butting heads with Tim. But all of that kind of got pushed to the back burner and seemed kind of insignificant, man, once we get to this pool party and we trying to treat these kids and everything. And then everything seems to be going fine, and then boom, bam, volcanic rock started shooting out of the middle of out of the eruption in the pool from the volcano. And we see one innocent kid that was there get hit. And that made me kind of realize that, okay, well, this is when it's going to happen. But at that same time, Tim had promised something earlier in the episode to a little kid that, well, nobody's going to die. I can promise you that. And that's what made him and Captain Vega kind of bump heads a little bit, because she was trying to tell him that you don't make promises you can't 100% keep. Because what if that kid's father had died, and then you'd be looking real weird because you promised this kid that his father was going to live. And it just so happens that wasn't the case. But so after she told him that, he was like, well, I kind of wish we can get along. I mean, we're bumping heads every time we turn around, and she's not giving me an attaboy or anything like that. So we get called on this case to the pool, and we see him trying to commend what he was doing, and he kind of changed it just a little bit because he admitted that he knew he was wrong, but he's trying to change it, because he doesn't want to bump heads with his captain. So while working this case, the kid wanted him to promise, and he didn't, but he was like, I'll do the best I can. And it was so nice to see him following rules, but at the same time, I feel like the rules is what also made him be in the predicament that he was in when he got hit by the rock and got killed. And his was so much larger compared to the one that impaled that little kid. Well, not that little kid, the kid from the pool party. His was probably like this, and it impaled in his chest. But the one that hit Tim seemed like massive in size, and they didn't even show Tim after that. So you just had to imagine the fact and the damage that it done. But when I say I got emotional and I cried as well, it's because I shed a couple tears because the connection that we had with Tim from the very first season, and he was that comedic one-liner guy in the whole firehouse, but he also brought something to the table. But this episode, we see him kind of butting heads with Captain Vega, but he commended himself, and Captain Vega was kind of feeling kind of sorry the way she laid into him. And we see that some reconciliation might have been in the works, but before that could happen, Tim got killed. And where I got emotional and I cried because of everyone in the firehouse. When it showed that slow motion anticipation throughout the ending of the episode, and everybody had their moments and their feelings towards Tim passing away and everything, it kind of really hit me, man, and it made it realize that, hey, Tim is dead. Sure, this is a show, and we all know that it's fake, but you invest in these characters, and I feel like that's what television is there for, man, to get you invested and feel something. And 911 does that on a daily, and you get invested in these characters, and panning through all of these characters, each going through their very different modicum of grief, you start to feel something yourself. You're like, oh well, yeah, man, I feel something for Tim too. And to see his partner just break down and be so heartbroken, man. Then we learned a little bit about Tim's backstory, about him coming out there, and he just happened to end up being a paramedic, and he enjoyed it, he liked it, and he hasn't seen his family in a long time, but he was going to go see them, but then the pandemic happened. So like, there's a lot of stuff to get you really invested in these characters, and I feel like that's just what television is for, and that is just pure great and wonderful writing on 911's writing room part, and that's just fantastic, and I couldn't ask for any more from a television show, man. Overall, it was a fantastic episode, and I can't wait to see next week's, because some stuff seemed to be popping off in that one as well, man. This your boy Dick Incredible. Don't forget to smash the like button till you can't smash it anymore. Comment down below, and I'll be sure to respond to each and every one of them, and subscribe, but only if you really want to, man. Peace out.